Hey, what's that you're looking at anyway?
I'm trying to locate all of the world's volcanoes in my atlas.
Are you interested in volcanoes? Volcanic eruptions have always kind of scared me a little.
They don't scare me. I'm reading a fascinating book about the last days of Pompeii, and it made me curious to know more about the origin of volcanoes.
I can't help you on that.
I know! Why don't we ask Jeannie?
Hi, how are you? I hope you're having as much fun as I am today.
Are you in a swimming pool, Jeannie?
No, I'm swimming in one of the hot springs you often find around volcanoes.
Oh, my TV series! I never miss it. See you later.
Alex! You call me out of my warm bath so that I can tell you all about volcanoes, and you run off to watch some silly series on television.
Oh, well,
Follow me, kids. Let's go! Volcanic eruptions are as old as the Earth itself. In fact, they've had an awful lot to do with shaping it. Not only that, but they can have an influence on our planet's climate. For example, the eruption that took place on Mount Asama in Japan in 1784. Or the one in Loki in Iceland the following year, which brought about an exceptionally hard winter. The volcanic eruption in 1883 of Krakatoa in Indonesia brought about radical climatic changes in the months that followed it. More recently, in 1982, the ashes of the Mexican volcano El Chichoni made the tour of the northern hemisphere, blocking the sun's rays and therefore harming vegetation. A very famous eruption took place in the year 79 AD. That was Vesuvius, and it happened during the time of the Roman Empire. This is the city of Pompeii. Can you see the damage? It was caused by an earthquake which took place about 16 years before the eruption. But the inhabitants didn't understand the importance of such phenomena.
I beg of you, don't leave us here. Come quickly, but the children must stay behind. I cannot abandon my grandchildren. They will perish. We must save them as well. Come, I said. There is no time to lose. Soon, we too will be in the next world.
This is how Pliny the Younger described the eruption of Vesuvius, which caused the death of Pliny the Elder, his uncle.
Sorry to disturb you, Uncle. But my mother has just observed a curious cloud in the heavens. What's that? A curious cloud? See for yourself, Uncle. It certainly is strange, isn't it? Yes. Yes, your mother was right. I beg your pardon, Master. What is it, slave? Everyone is talking about Vesuvius having erupted. An eruption? A message from the wife of Cicius Bassus for you, Master. Is the news very bad, Uncle? My friend's wife lives at the foot of Mount Vesuvius and she's understandably worried. I must go and help. Prepare the ship immediately. But it could be extremely dangerous. Because of the eruption, the sea is the only way to evacuate them. Protect yourself and the others. Get them to a safe shelter. I will. Who knows how far the eruption will spread? May the gods protect us. I followed my revered uncle's instructions. His ship had great difficulty in advancing. Master, there are more and more ashes. Burning rocks are striking the ship. If we don't turn back now, we're going to sink. Good fortune favors the courageous. We shall continue to our destination. My friends, we have come to save you. Do you hear me? We have come to save you. You must board the ship. Board the ship immediately. Leave everything behind. Hurry, there's no time to
Pliny,
lose.
my friend, here I am.
Huh? Are you all right?
As you see, your friend Pompeianus has been very lucky.
But why are you wearing that pillow on your head?
It's the best way to protect oneself from all the flying rocks. I have my fortune here, too.
Let's not waste time. We've got to save as many people as we can.
You mustn't go further. It's far too dangerous. Pompeii is already totally destroyed.
We shall see. Onward!
I beg of you, Pliny, don't go. You risk being killed.
The eruptions are beginning again. I fear the very worst for my uncle. It's time I took everyone here to safety. If there's still anyone in there, come out quickly! If there's anyone inside, come out and run to the port! A boat is waiting! Wait for me, I'm coming! What are you doing? Hurry! Oh, too late. Some people are more anxious to save their possessions than their own lives. You there! Hurry and get to the boat now! Do you hear me?
I'm afraid.
Take care of them, but hurry up, will you? Don't worry, there's no need to be frightened. You're perfectly safe here. But I don't think we'll ever see my uncle again.
And that's how Pompeii was buried in just a few hours under enormous amounts of volcanic ash. Thousands of people are believed to have been buried alive. Hey, what are you doing?
Oh, you see, I was digging a well here, and look at what I just found.
Why, it's part of Pompeii.
A part of what? I don't understand.
It wasn't until 1,600 years later that the ruins of Pompeii were found, but the digging didn't begin until 1748, and it continues even today, giving us an inside look at ancient Roman society.
Pompeii's fate was really sad.
But how do volcanoes erupt, Jeannie?
You remember Wegener said that the Earth's crust is composed of many blocks, which move in relation to each other, right? Now, according to the way these blocks slide in relation to each other, you get three distinct kinds of volcanoes. Iceland, for example, which is perched on the Great Mid-Ocean Ridge, gives us one type of volcano. The lava flows from the area where the two blocks separate. In Japan, in the Cordillera in the Andes, or in Italy, we find a second type of volcano, when one block slips under another and the magma comes up through the Earth's crust, forming mountain volcanoes. And in Hawaii, magma originating from very deep down regularly pierces the blocks. These eruptions are usually very spectacular to watch. Not to mention underwater volcanoes. All in all, there are about 500 active volcanoes on the Earth's surface. About 50 of these volcanoes are located on islands in Japan, and some of their eruptions have caused an incredible amount of damage. In 1898, on the tiny island of Tori, 300 miles south of Tokyo, lived a quiet, charming community of bird hunters.
Hey, look at all that smoke out there. The island's volcano has woken up.
The sailors wanted to help the island's inhabitants, but the violence of the eruption stopped them. On hearing the news, Professor Omori rushed to the site. Where are all the people who live here, Professor Omori?
They're all dead, Jeannie. There aren't any survivors.
All 125 of them?
Yes, all 125 of them in one split second. If only we could predict an eruption.
Do you really think it's possible, Professor?
If we study and observe volcanoes in great detail, we should be able to predict their eruptions.
A few years later, in 1902, another eruption occurred, this time on the Pelée Mountain in Martinique. In a few seconds, an incandescent cloud came down the mountain at a speed of 300 miles an hour, destroying the city of Saint-Pierre, killing 28,000 people. This is Professor Thomas Jagger, an American geologist.
Professor Jagger, I've looked everywhere and I can't find even one survivor.
You've got to keep looking. Hey, I think I just heard something. It sounded like someone crying for help. It came from there.
We must go and have a look. Hurry!
Okay, let's go. I heard someone shout. I'm sure I did.
Hello! Hello!
Move that stone out of the way, quickly!
1, 2, 3. It came from down there.
Yes, I'm sure it did.
It's all so difficult to understand. We must study these phenomena further, and perhaps one day we'll be able to predict such catastrophes.
Now that sounds awfully familiar, doesn't it? Right! Professor Omori said the same thing.
I'm glad to learn that I am not alone in believing that such phenomena can be predicted.
Sometime later, the two geologists were lucky enough to meet each other.
Ah, what incredible strength is hidden under this magnificent landscape.
Yes, we must create new instruments to scientifically study the Earth.
The only way to really know a volcano is to live with it. We must create observatories and have a permanent exchange of information.
Jagger, you are a true and loyal friend.
And so are you.
And so in 1911, the Mount Osama Observatory was created in Japan. And this is the seismograph Professor Omori used to detect earth tremors under the volcanoes. And in January 1912, the Volcano Observatory of Hawaii was opened. Jagger worked there for 30 years.
Tell me, Jeannie, are there any volcanoes which are still forming today?
Oh, sure. Take a close look at this map. In 1963, to the south of Iceland, after an underwater volcanic eruption, an island rose from the waves, the island of Surtsey. 10 years later, just 12 miles away, a new volcano erupted on the island of Jaime, inhabited by fishermen. A third of the town was covered by lava and volcanic ash. Firefighters constantly sprayed the lava for 4 months, trying to cool off the flow. Luckily, the eruption stopped after 6 months, without the lava reaching the port, and so there were no victims. No one was killed.
But I imagine that lots of homes were destroyed.
That's true, but there were some advantages to the eruption. For example, a new landing strip was built using the recovered volcanic matter. In fact, since Iceland is situated on the mid-Atlantic ridge, it benefits from the volcanic bed's heat. This is Reykjavik, the capital of Iceland, near the polar circle. Oh, wow, it's so cold out here! Oh! Warm in here. Ah, Iceland makes use of the hot water under the ground. You simply open the tap, and out comes hot water. Pretty practical for a cold country, isn't it? But that's not all. Watch this. This same source of heat is used in greenhouses to grow all kinds of fruit and flowers indoors. Did you know that Iceland is the #1 producer of bananas in Europe? As in Italy, Japan, and New Zealand, Iceland uses the steam extracted from volcanic rock to work the turbines of its electrical power plants. The Italian plant of Lardello, for example, produces 380 million watts, which represents a third of a nuclear plant's output. But this, of course, is only possible in volcanic regions. This source of energy is endless, but it's very expensive to use.
That's because you've got to dig down really deep to get to it.
Right! You've got to dig as deep as 2,000 meters sometimes, and that calls for a lot of industrial equipment and manpower, meaning lots of money.
What? Did you say 2,000 meters?
Yes, 2 kilometers, over a mile.
Oh, now this is what I call living. This is wonderful! I love swimming around in hot springs. You see, in volcanic regions, the underground water, heated by the magma, comes to the surface and creates either springs or lakes. These waters are rich in dissolved mineral salts and are used for thermal health cures. And now I want you to look at these incredible images, which were filmed in Hawaii, just as the Earth was opening up. amazing, fantastic, incredible. Oh, I could look at something like that for hours and hours. I'm a real volcano fan. So long, kids. See you soon.